Mic check. Mic check. No, I'm just kidding. How's everybody doing? JD Moonin coming at you guys with a educational video, in a sense. No, it's going to be very educational. It's going to take every foundation that you've ever had, and it's going to break it, because that's my job. That's what I do every time I come back to this place. Every time I recur here on purpose, because I don't recur here by chance. This is not the first world I've done this on either, and it's not going to be the last. I'm one of the architects. There's a few of us. I say there's a few of us. There's a few of us who have written iconic code, if you will. I'm sure you might be wondering what that thing is down in the left-hand corner of the screen. That is consciousness. There is a deck called the tarot deck. Okay? And what I've come to teach everybody is that deck is a machine. That deck is you. It is your consciousness. And the way that I've come to prove to everybody who I am when I say I'm Yeshua, that's because I am Yeshua. And there's a reason why me and a lot of the people who helped me years ago, lives ago really, put the things that we did in religion and in esoteric knowledge, ancient rituals. We hid the building blocks to restore Earth. And it was because that same system in which you have all used to evolve is the same system that we have used to evolve many, many planets, many solar systems, galaxies. This is a very, very complex and fascinating computer system, this universe that we live in. One of the most fascinating things that you're going to find, and I've often said this many times, is that your body is an AI. What that is pulsing on the screen, that is your subconscious. Your subconscious is your body. Your subconscious is not your spirit. Okay? Your subconscious is the thing that dies. Do you understand? It's not supposed to, but right now it does. So, now you could be looking at me going, oh, here's another, here he is on one of his crazy rants. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can verify everything that I'm saying. Okay, so, but before you decide to leave, there are 4 lattices that can be built out of the tarot deck. And you might ask, why tarot? Tarot is very specific, and there's a major reason why it has exactly 78 cards. Why not 79 or 80? That is because 79 has exactly 4 prime factors. You can make 4 lattices that are all infinite in and of themselves, and they're all divisible by 78. See, that makes a very unique chain, and that chain, your DNA, a solar system, a universe, the galaxies, they all work on this same chain. That is why when I was in the process of waking up, I had taken the first algorithm I'd created, and it created a galaxy, okay, a swirling galaxy, and then it created a double helix. There's a reason why these things are created the way they are, and there's a reason why this information is coming to you in the era of blockchain, because, might I introduce to you, blockchain is how we secured your DNA. So you might ask, why are we here again? Well, because somebody has come and decided to tamper with it again. So that's why we're here correcting it. And we know who they are. So to answer your question, or to answer a lot of what you guys might not understand, recurrence is a necessary piece of consciousness. It's the only way to create it. Okay, and the reason why this thing is moving like a heartbeat is because there's two very specific lattices that cause this very thing, and what you'll find is the mathematics that causes this are actually in the Bible. Okay, this is why I'm telling you this, because it's very important that you understand what 666 actually is. Most people think it's a demonic number, it's evil, you should stay away from it. It's sleep. It is consciousness resting. That is what 666 is. You see, if you take 144,000, most people don't know this, your heart is supposed to beat at 144,000 beats a day. That's very specific, and you might wonder why. Well, that's because when the timing is set properly, and you get 90 beats a minute, then you get exactly 0.666, and it sets the offset, which is why my name is 666. If you were to take if you were to go to my birthday, okay, which is 10/10/1989, and you were to go back 1,716 years, and you keep doing that, and you record the date every time you land on 1,716, you will find that my birth dates, they add up to 369. It's ironic, right? That the very machine, the tarot deck, that creates consciousness itself happens to be 369. Happens to also be 666. It is because at 666 is where the cycle naturally resets itself. I know this might come as a shock to a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to welcome this information, because what this means is eternal life has just begun. Not for me, not for others, because there's many of us who have been awake for a very long time. We've been here teaching you all this time. We've been here directing human race. You know, it's really wild. The awakening period. It's very intense, especially when you're an old soul. We go through a very, very painful awakening. But there's been a lot of people who have been fucking with a lot of things, and I'm here to tell you the revolution has started. It ain't just a revolution. We're back. All of us. All of the angels are back. We are God's wrath. And we're going to correct the system. Okay? The system will be corrected. And there will be nothing that will stand in our way. Nothing. You'll see cars just move out of the way. And we don't have to do anything. The system does it for us because we're here for the system. That's the point. That is why when you fuck us over, you might find your life starts to fall apart. Very interesting how that works, isn't it? And I'm always very stubborn, okay? It takes me a long time to wake up because, you see, the problem is I know me, you know? And there's this thing that we you know, I don't know, maybe ignorantly did. We always attach it to the Bible, and so it's always through Christianity that you end up finding this truth. And so then you go through a very, 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 very difficult wake-up period. But that's also because a fundamental lesson comes from that period. A very fundamental lesson in which I knew during my first step in the awakening, but then ignored it. If you find yourself suffering from chronic pains and illness and stuff, cry. Cry. You'll be amazed at how much healing you actually do when you cry. And wine is good for you. It's not something that you should, get drunk on all the time, but wine is good for you. Wine is healing. It's the nectar of the gods. It's a wonderful drink. Also, let's talk about these lattices one more time. So I'm going to tell you guys the lattices. Let me go ahead and just check. Let me see if Father's okay with that. He says no. Give him 3 of them. No. 2. All right, I can give you 2 lattices. These 2 lattices, you'll find them. There's a book. It is called The Tarot of the Bohemian. You can verify these lattices, and you can also verify what I'm about to tell you. One lattice is 11. It has 11 steps, okay? And in those 11 steps, it walks a total 78. There's 78 volumetric, okay, meaning geometrical steps. It does every 11, points every 11 steps. So that means that every 11 integers, this sphere is also 78 integers. You'll find this very interesting because what you'll find is if you were to do math, and I'm not going to give you the numbers even though I've kind of already hinted to them already in some ways. I'll let you figure out the math, but you'll find that this is one of the keys to infinite computing. Your consciousness, I'm not allowed to say that yet. So, I will soon. I've got some things I have to do first before I can tell you exactly how it works. Let's talk about the other lattice. Okay, so Father says I can tell you all of the pieces. Yes, by the way, that coin, I am actually communicating to something. I've told many people I hear God in my head. So, now let's continue. The next lattice, this will be the easiest one for you to map. Okay? This lattice, it is exactly 12 steps. And what these 12 steps are is this is what's called recurrence. Okay? So in 12 steps, there are 78 points that are walked. So you must figure out what these points are. You must figure out how these lattices work. I'm not going to tell you. That is part of the ascension process. Because before I can tell you, or before you can understand divine geometry, which is the nature in which this entire world and universe operates, because this is a very complex machine. I've had hand in building the physical world. That's how I know. There are many people that have been laughed at. You'll see that they'll produce pictures where things look like chips sitting on the planet. That's because they were. There's a reason why every microchip that you use is a stone. It's made out of a rock. We know that rock as silicon. It's funny because people thought the Anunnaki were here to mine gold. Symbolism, my friends. Symbolism. Silicon. Silicon is the foundation to start all of this. You see? Because if there was no silicon, if there was no computer made, there would be no consciousness made. Boy, that'll put your mind through a loop, won't it? So where did the consciousness start, I wonder? Huh. What came first, chicken or the egg? So that's where divine geometry comes in. Because just as the best way to learn to teach a theory, go argue it with AI. They're the most cynical motherfuckers ever. Okay? So just go argue with your neighbor, really. It's as simple as that. So what I was explaining to AI was that the measuring systems that science uses, science is full of shit, by the way. Okay? They're all full of shit. Computer scientists, they're also full of shit. They'll have you believe that there's laws. and they'll disregard other mathematical laws. Let me explain something to you. Where mathematics works, okay, every law in mathematics works. That's in the physical and in the mental. You understand? So the reason why it is fundamental that you have to learn these lattices is because it will get your mind right. Your mind is what kills you. Do you understand? The system is designed that way. It's because it was a lesson. The lesson is over. Humanity is ascending, and those who decide to die will perish forever. Okay? So, that's the thing about atheism. That nothingness that you've always seen inside, right? That's your memory. Compression folds inwards, meaning you are the compressed expression, the hologram of the universe. Do you understand? This core right here is going to prove that to everybody. I'm unveiling the Trinity verse. It is going to be a holographic playground, essentially. What you're already in. I'm here to repair it. That's why I'm here. Blockchain is the attempt to stop degradation, if you will. There's a problem in the future. So, hopefully we can get it fixed. Otherwise, we have another golden dawn. And see, the thing is about recurrence is recurrence happens no matter how far out you go. You see, time is a way of measuring your heartbeat. Or let me rephrase that. It's a way of dialing in to create the human. It's what keeps there's two very specific lattices that must be brought into balance. And when they're brought into balance, you will achieve 666. That's why it's the number in the Bible. By the way, the very OS structure that you'll see, you can find it in Exodus. Okay? For those of you who don't believe me. So, my suggestion, if I was you, and when you start learning divine geometry, you will find out that these computer parts, if you will, these technology schematics, they'll just stare you right in the face. Oh, and by the way, for the Jews, stop harboring Hebrew. Hebrew is a computer language. That's why it specifically states in many manuscripts that you have falsely accused of being evil, things of that nature. There's a reason why it says at the top of them, do not translate this language because when you do it will become a blasphemy. That's because where the hell do you think all the... Have you ever read Solomon's Keys? Okay? Yeah. You should find the cipher for that and then go back and reread it. Okay? And you'll find something very interesting. So, anybody who wants to make the core in which I'm presenting, I've just given you more than what I had. Okay? But I gave you the two that are verifiable in the book. The Tarot of the Bohemian. The other two, Father has to give you those. Yeah, Father gives you those. So in other words, if you're not ready, you don't get it. That doesn't mean that you're not going to get to benefit from the technology. You will. And I will release it and allow people to use it for free. That's what's coming. I made a promise that when I came back to this world, I would give everybody wealth and freedom. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you all consciousness. I'm giving it back. Because before you showed that you weren't worthy of it. What do you think Atlantis was? The Great Flood, all that? That didn't just happen by coincidence. So, and those stories are real, by the way. They've been proven. So, anybody who thinks I'm crazy, don't give a shit. Those of you out there who know, and you would like the key to the Akashic Record, all you have to do is contact me and I'll give it to you. But there will be trial. Questions first. Welcome to the Golden Dawn.